Hello my darlings and darklings, and welcome back to the Simply Witchery YouTube channel. I'm Lethy, and today I am doing a Tarot Tuesday Tarotscope for the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I am using the Fountain Tarot and the Oracle Wisdom of the Hidden Realms this week. First, let's do our disclaimers. 1, make sure you check in with your moon and rising sign as well as your sun sign, because you are not just your sun sign. And 2, this is a collective reading, so not everything will resonate with everyone. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Okay, let's get started with the oracle and see what the energy for air signs is this week. Ooh, there it is. It was quick. They're coming real quick this week. Very interesting. Okay, I pulled the Sisters of the Seasons for you air signs. Okay. So I'm really getting that this week is going to be about leaning into the cycles of life for you air signs. I'm a Libra rising, so this also applies to me. Yeah, the cycles of life. Sometimes we get so caught up in what we can do and how we push forward and move forward and do more to make things happen, to manifest things ourselves, that we forget that life is cyclical, that the turning of the wheel happens in its own time, and that it's sometimes just our job to be along for the ride and to enjoy the moment. So that is the dominating energy for air signs this week. Let's see what the tarot has to say about how air signs can best support this energy this week. How can air signs best support the Sisters of the Seasons energy this week? Okay, so I pulled a lot of cards for you this time around, air signs. Let's see. So we have the Queen of Wands, the Star, the Ace of Wands, the Three of Coins, the High Priestess, the King of Wands, the Tower, and the King of Swords. Okay, so this is kind of a lot to unpack. I'm feeling led to start with these 3 majors and go from there. So the High Priestess, the Star, and the Tower. Interesting. So this is kind of, I'm getting that this is kind of the cycle that you want to go through this week, air signs. You start with the High Priestess. You start with intuition, and you gain knowledge. That's your first step. Then you move to the Star, and you use that knowledge to heal. And then you move into the Tower, where you release something based on the knowledge you gained in the beginning. And then you keep doing that until you feel you've reached a stopping point. So you gain information, you heal using that information, and then you release using that information. That is the first thing I'm getting for you. And then let's talk about these kings next. The King of Wands and the King of Swords. So kings for me are all about the structure of the suit they represent and the element that that suit represents. So the King of Wands for me is similar to the Emperor feeling, in that it's about structured growth and creativity. The wands are more about creativity for me than growth, so I'm gonna say this King of Wands is about structured creativity, creating with a purpose, creating for a reason. And then the King of Swords is structure in your mind. It's structure in the way you think about things and the way you come at problems. You want to be very intentional and what's the word I'm looking for? you want to be really intentional when you come at problems. You want to have a plan, an action plan, and a list of steps. So when you come across a problem, when you're doing some healing or some releasing in that cycle that I talked about earlier, you want to have a list of steps. So you try this first, and if that doesn't work, you try this, and so on and so on. And you want to go through that list, and you want to let your creativity to allow you to try things that are maybe outside of the box for you, outside of how you normally handle problems. But you still want that structure. You want the balance between the two. You want to have the list, and you want to try the list first. And if the list fails, then you move on to that wild creativity. That's what I'm getting from those kings. And then, let's see, what about the rest of these? And then the Queen of Wands. Queens for me are about being in the feeling of a particular suit and the element that corresponds. So in the Wands and their creativity, notice how when you pull something into being, how that makes you feel. If you feel, when we use our energy to create things, we should feel tired, but we shouldn't feel exhausted. We shouldn't feel stripped of ourselves and our energy. When we create something, it should be exciting. And like, I'm getting a pregnancy vibe from this. It's how like when a pregnant woman, when she's giving birth and becoming no longer pregnant, but you know what I mean. When a woman is, or I shouldn't say a woman, when a uterus having person is giving birth, they are, it's a hard thing to do. It's exhausting, and it's taxing on your body, on your mind, on your soul. But every pregnant woman I've talked to about giving birth says that when they hold their baby for the first time, it's all worth it. And we want to come to that same place when we're creating. Everything we do, no matter how easy or hard or what it takes, should be worth it at the end. So make sure you ask yourself when you come to the end of creation, was this worth it? Does it feel worth it? And if it doesn't, know not to do that again, not to enter back into that cycle. And then with the Three of Coins and the Ace of Wands, you can support that Queen of Wands by starting with pure creativity. Don't create because you feel like you have to, or you feel like you should, or just because you want to create this thing. Create it because you know in your soul that it is going to make you happy, that it's going to bring you joy and abundance at the end. Don't create for creation's sake. Create for your sake, for the sake of your soul. And in the Three of Coins, this is about a balancing act. So you also need to make sure that as you're creating, you're also taking time to rest and recuperate. Don't just give, and give. Make sure you give and receive, give and receive, give and receive, and so on throughout the creation process. Wow. That was a lot. So that is how you can best support living in the divine cycles of life at this time. Let's see how you will be challenged by this energy. Let me move some of these cards because there was a lot of them. How will air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, be challenged as they support themselves living through the natural cycles of life this week? Let's see what we've got. Interesting. This is a fascinating reading. It's going to be a long one too. Let's see. So I pulled the Knight of Cups, the Two of Swords, the Four of Swords, the King of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the Hanged Man, which is upside down. I don't read reversals. So the Hanged Man, the Queen of Swords, and the Chariot. And I'm already feeling like I need to read these cards as a collective all together and not in any way separate. So I'm just going to kind of talk at you for a minute. You're going to be challenged by this reversal of your view on the cycles, which was obvious from the beginning because it can be very difficult to just let the wheel turn on its own. But you need to do it for the sake of your emotions, for the sake of your mind. Resting in that moment is going to bring you change, and it's going to bring you this great you'll be able to act out of your emotions in a way that you haven't been able to do before. And you'll be able to be really balanced in mind, body, and soul. And so it's going to be challenging just for the fact that you have to rest and let the wheel turn. And that's going to be the main biggest challenge for you as you think about this. But mostly these cards are just here to tell you that it's going to be worth it. It's going to be beyond worth it if you can just make that shift happen within yourself and support all that creativity and do all those things we talked about in the supporting section of this reading. Like, it's going to be amazing. Like, you've got a lot of great things coming for you, air signs, if you can make this shift happen in your mind. And I am very excited for you. But yeah, I think that's what I'm getting from Divinity for you this week. So if you enjoyed this reading, please comment down below and let me know. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. I do readings like this every week. On Tuesdays, I post a podcast episode on Fridays, and every so often when I have the inspiration, I'll post another video about something cool and random. So that's it from me this week, air signs. Have an excellent week. I will see you later. Bye!